Brother, you sold me a new set of carbon wheels.
Yes. Yeah.
My first set that my big ass is tried out. And on the first ride, they blew up.
Yeah. I believe it.
I blew them up on the first ride.
Yep.
So I called the manufacturer and I said, hey, I blew up my tires. You know what they told me?
Good for you.
They said, we can't help you, sir. Not in this department. And I said, well, why not? They said, well, those type of things are handled by our spokesperson.
It's just awful. It's such a long joke for just a... There's so many jokes in there.
There's a lot of jokes
like
in
you
there.
blew them up. Hey, good for you. What pressure did you put them at? Or something like that, But, okay. Yeah.
All right.
We need better dad jokes.
Well, bring some.
I know. I keep forgetting. I was just looking some up and then I'll fumble them. But yeah, I don't know.
How about some mom jokes?
We should have a contest.
Oh, is there a thing?
Oh,
is there such a thing?
I think they'd scare you a little.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of. Now I want to hear
now we're going to have to do mom jokes.
I totally want to hear them.
Do you have a mom joke for us,
not.
Ruth?
No.
Not any appropriate ones.
Oh, okay.
I would love it if the people that listen who have some of our social media give us some cool.
If you got good dad jokes, send them.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a handful of people that send me dad jokes
Do
from
they?
time to time. It's usually like meme cuts, whatever.
Yeah,
I get that, you
Yeah.
know, I don't know, once a month or twice a month or something.
There's got to be better ones than we come up with. Anytime I Google something, I'm pretty disappointed.
Listen, man, I thought my spokesperson one was pretty good. Come on.
I don't
It's
know.
a bike. It's a unique
my
bike one.
favorite one?
Is the chicken one?
No.
What?
No, I mean, yeah, but no, is the microbiologist one that Dave came
Dave
up with.
Slagle.
Yeah.
You know what? You know why that was so good is that he was like, it was the end of the podcast.
Yeah,
And I
he
was like,
delivered it really well,
was,
too.
It was so
Yeah.
perfect. I was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it.
Yep.
I knew kind of halfway through. Oh shit, he's telling a joke right now.
I do have a question, though.
Go for it. What's your question?
I mean, somebody asked me, he's like, who wrote that intro?
It's awesome.
Oh
isn't
God, here we go. God damn it, you guys. I've been set up.
Oh man,
Yes, no more.
I'm telling you, dude, you should have been famous.
Oh my God. It's not going to come from this podcast. I can tell you that. All right. So it's Thursday night. Where the hell did our winter go?
We didn't have one. I think we had a day.
Yeah, it was
Maybe
like
two.
cold for I was like putting my air conditioning on in my house today. I'm like, Jesus, it's like February 2nd or something.
We got like one day of rain. Like
That's
A
it.
right?
day?
Yeah, I think
about
we got
20 seconds.
Yeah. It was crazy. So
Yeah.
I hear next week maybe we'll get some rain. Which
That'd be
would
cool.
nice.
It'd also be good if we got some snow up in the mountains. I'd love to do some snowboarding somewhere.
Yeah. It's I hope it's just a late
winter.
Late winter because at least we'll get the desert needs it so bad.
We need the rain for sure.
Yeah, we really do.
But we are here on a Thursday night here in Guru Bikes, the world famous Guru Bikes. We're hearing that Guru is becoming more famous.
Infamous.
I'd like to think that the Mountain Cog Podcast had a little bit to do with that.
Oh heck yeah.
And we are with Ruth. Ruth, you guys say I'm going to try it. Then you can tell me if I screwed up. Because I'm just going to go straight up like white boy, like pronunciation, right? So Cañamar?
No.
Say it.
she's all,
Not even close,
Not even
dude.
close.
No, that's not it.
So the N has a tilde,
A tilde. Okay.
and that makes it ñ. So it's Caña. Cañamar.
Cañamar.
Caña.
Oh God, I'm going to butcher that. I've already butchered it so much.
Cañamar.
Cañamar.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm close.
He's got multiple languages and learns. I'm just going to be awful. I'll be like Rocky Mountain Ruth. That's what
Ruth rides a Rocky Mountain Instinct.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
But Ruth is the vice president of the Sonoran Desert Mountain Biking Association here in southern Arizona and Pima County. And you might remember we have had different members from SDMB, the Sonoran Desert Mountain Bikers, on multiple times. So I think going all the way back to episode 52, we had Nat Gordon, who's the current president of SDMB, talking about the restoration work that he did on Mount Graham. And that amazing graham cracker ride kind of in eastern Arizona. It's 17 miles, 6,300 feet of descent. If you like big mountain riding, it's a little raw. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
And it's a whole lot of fucking awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
A lot.
Really is. It's a good oasis in the summer. So get
And
out
I
of the
can
heat.
say that I've ridden
You've ridden the whole thing?
You've ridden the whole thing.
the whole thing.
Yep.
Not all at once, but thanks to Nat and thanks to Dave Slagle, they definitely said I could do it. And I'm proud to say that I have done the Grand Cracker, but in sections.
Nice. Do they have snow right now?
Oh, I don't even know.
I'm guessing they'd be similar to Lemon.
I think there's a video stream from because Mount University of Arizona has a
Yeah,
telescope
Bigelow.
up there,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
And so I could check and see from there. I think they have a webcam.
Oh, that'd
that you
be
can
cool.
look and see if there's snow, but I hadn't heard.
Yeah.
But Ruth, thank you for coming and spending an evening with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
Exciting. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about SDMB. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Well, SDMB. SDMB is a nonprofit organization, and we are geared to get more people on bikes, on mountain bikes, on our wonderful trails here in southern Arizona. And our mission is to build and maintain those trails, and to do that, with people that enjoy being outdoors and that understand that we try and do this, with this much, environmental sense, where we're, really trying to not impact what's out there. Like there's a lot of archaeological sites that we have here, and we want to protect those, and we want to be cognizant and educate people on those, and we just want people out enjoying our trails.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
So
And my goal,
your goal?
why I came on,
Why did you come on?
Yeah.
not because I'm a badass mountain biker, but I am.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
not.
It's true.
But,
You rode the graham cracker. You're a badass mountain
I
biker.
think so. And I met, you know who I met?
Who'd you meet?
Lacey,
My wife.
Oh,
your
yeah.
wonderful wife.
Yeah.
On Mount Graham?
Yes.
Was that when she went and rode, when she did by herself or when we were there together? Do you remember?
I don't know if you were there, but you went with her. She
Okay.
was riding up the Swift Trail. Is that
Okay. Yep. Swift Trail.
Yep. And she stopped to say hello, and she's my little spirit animal. She's awesome. She's awesome.
She's a honey badger for sure.
She don't care.
I do identify as a honey badger because you know the saying.
I love honey badger.
But anyway, I definitely I started riding at the age of 52.
No shit.
Wow.
Wow.
Holy mackerel.
So I don't know much about bikes. I just know that when I get on a bike, it makes me feel like a 12-year-old kid. And so the bike has got me through a lot of things. And I'm going to have a big birthday
Yes.
in
Happy
a
birthday,
week
by the
or
way.
so.
Are
Thank
you
you.
going to do your birthday mouse?
I'm going to be out at the 24-hour. Well, kind of, yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do with
Right.
I don't really try and think a lot about it, but I'm very grateful to a mountain bike that is actually, I think, reversing my age. So and making me maybe a little more fun, as my daughter likes to say, like get the stick out of your ass. 'Cause, I'm all about work.
You can't have a stick in your ass and be on a saddle.
Exactly. So exactly.
Good, but it might be, it wouldn't feel good.
Yeah.
So, mountain biking has brought that fun and beer to my life. So I definitely, enjoy my bike so much that I decided, to join SDMB.
Mm-hmm.
And about 3 months after I joined SDMB, I became an executive board member, and it's just been the best thing I've done, I think, since I've moved here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when did you join the board, and when did you become the VP?
I'll tell you, I went to my first poker ride after I did some trail work, and I read about the poker ride, and I thought, well, I don't race. But somebody said, well, it's not a race, it's a ride.
Yeah.
It's a fun ride. So I went with some folks, the Dirt Divas,
Yep.
and we had a blast. And then after I finished, I went out and looked at the merch, and I saw Dave Slagle and Lisa Slagle, and they recruited me to join SDMB. And that was in January. And I think in March of 2001, I joined SDMB. And by May, I was...
Wait, that had to be 2021.
2000. Oh,
Yeah.
Because I was like, if you were 52 in 2001, girl,
no,
there's something wrong.
geez, wow.
I was like, you're looking awesome.
Yeah.
2001 is actually when I moved here. When
Gotcha,
I moved
gotcha,
to the
gotcha.
to the old Pueblo. But no, it was 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
And so and then I just kind of go all in. It's like if I'm going to be part of this group, I'm going to just jump on in.
Have we talked about the poker ride?
No, but that would be a good thing because that's
Yeah.
one of the things I want to talk about. So a few weeks ago, Mountain Cog went out, and Dane also was out there with Guru, and we helped out, and I think maybe Ruth can talk us through like what we did and how we helped out. But it was just this amazing ride, so organized social ride with giveaways, and it was free to the public, and it was just amazing. It highlighted a lot of the local businesses. Like everybody had a smile on their face.
Yeah.
That's what I remember is just everybody had a smile on their face.
Yeah.
So maybe tell us a little bit about the poker ride. Like what's it like to ride that?
Well, it got me to join SDMB, so that's how fun it is.
So it's a good thing.
But I'll tell you, it was right after COVID, so people were hungry to come out and ride.
Yeah. Okay.
And that time, I think there was about 75. No, I think the year before it was 75, and then that year there was about 100 people or so, or 120. And it was just so much fun, and, I fell in love with it. And then as soon as I could volunteer with it, because Dave Slagle is the events committee guy. So he's like, hey, I need some help with this. And so I jumped on board. And the next year I decided, well, I'm going to coordinate these stations and I'm going to be, I'm going to run one of the stations. So,
yes.
Anna Noble, she helped me. She was injured. So I had my vuvuzelas. I don't know if you know what those are.
I don't. So what is that?
Like when soccer, I don't know, we had the, like back in 2014 or so when the U.S. was, winning, all of the, soccer, right? And they were using in Colombia or somewhere the vuvuzelas.
The big, the like.
Are they like trumpets? Like plastic
like
trumpets?
yes.
Just the plastic ones. And you just,
So we ordered those, and
That's
we used to
awesome.
take them to the football games at CDO, and they were banned. And then all of a sudden they were banned. But I used to sit with the kids, and we were like, And so anyway, I still have those. I took those, and I take them to every poker ride now. And I think people know that station, because they hear the noise, and I also. Bring other things to the station. And so anyway, in that year, I think, we increased the numbers. And then this past year, I decided that, we should probably invite, not just have SDMB board members running the stations, but, really this is about the community and the bike shops. And, Torca was out there, Guru, you were out there. We had, TJ from El Tour, and it was so much fun because you want to give back to the community. We do. And this ride is a social ride. We don't charge for it because this is our way to give back to the community, to say, hey, let's come out, have fun. It's the end of the year and the beginning of a new year. Let's do what we like to do best. And I'm telling you, every, bike shops get upset if we don't ask them to donate.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They're like, why can't, they're like.
Sorry to any shops that didn't get asked.
Exactly. And a lot of shops are like, oh yeah, what did Guru give you? Yeah. So there's a competition there. So it's nice because then you just pay $5 for a raffle ticket. All that money, it's a fundraiser as well for us, we have food trucks, this year we had Brian Vance and Marie Vance.
With Jersey Girl.
And we have
pizza place.
The family pizza. And it was
Jaime's
great.
out with the Peddler on the Path.
Peddler on the Path coffee.
With the coffee.
Yeah.
And,
shout out to Jaime.
and we just, we just want this to be a community event, and, we'll make a few dollars with the raffle, but it's more to bring everyone together. And this year was great. Next year, Dane, I think we want you to set up some things, some jumps for the kids, because we're no longer letting people park right up to where we start. So that was.
I got yelled at.
Yes, I know.
Did you?
Yes.
But the kids.
I was bringing the beer and I got yelled at.
Can I say something? Yeah. So I got called out on this one because the station ahead of me had a ton of stuff they were giving out. I can't talk about on the air, and the station past me had like margaritas, or what did they have?
Mai Tais.
Mai Tais. And like
that was Joni
grilled pineapple. And everybody's like, dude, you didn't have anything. I just want everyone to know that I had my normal coffee, donuts, and cookies. Mm-hmm. They just were so good that everybody took them all.
Mm-hmm.
we had donuts and candy at ours.
Yes, yeah. But Jennifer Campbell had did she have the Lay's? She had a bunch of stuff
I think
too.
that's Leo Armory with Joni Dean,
yeah.
and that's who to win. I don't know.
They
it
are
was close
setting-
between her station and my station.
Next year, I've got to get my game on.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. I can't show up with just Starbucks coffee, donuts, and cookies anymore. I gotta step it up.
So let's talk like from the rider perspective.
Yeah.
Because we talked a lot about it, but like folks like don't even know like what a poker ride is. So like what is a poker ride?
Well, you buy. You don't buy extra. You get a
Scorecard.
scorecard.
Yep.
And next year, hopefully, we're going to go electronic.
Nice.
We'll see.
That's-
We'll see.
look at that.
That'll be easier for us because it's a lot of counting.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, I don't know anything about poker, so I don't do any
either.
of the counting. Or anything. But anyway, you get a card. You go to all the stations.
Yep.
And then you play your best. The best.
Yeah. So there was what 18, 12?
No, we have
10.
10
stations. 10 stations. So basically
So we should explain what a station is.
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
So a station is on the trail. Somebody has set up a table or whatever. I mean, I did it with Mike one year, and we didn't have a table. It was just us and a couple chairs. And that was the first year or second year. And it basically along the trail, people set up, and then they have a deck of cards. And that's called a station. So like it's gotten elaborate now because we
all bring stuff.
I had a fireplace and like armchairs last year.
Nice.
So but yeah, so that's what a station is. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and so the goal is, you can go just to 5 stations and get your 5 cards, or some people are pretty competitive, and they'll ride quickly and get their cards, and then they'll come back and then hang out with some of the stations are cooler than others.
Yep. Yeah.
So we try and have some treats for you and some photos. I have like cutout cards of playing cards, and people take their pictures on there. But anyway, they just have a friendly competition with each other, and it's not just about mountain bikers. We have runners.
Yeah, that was crazy. Trail runners.
So, the trail runners helped out. They volunteered at your station, Station
sure.
1.
Yep, Caitlin.
Caitlin. So we're really trying to make this not just about anyone who wants to hike or run can come out and participate with this program.
Yeah.
And then
So
you come back at the end.
Well, so first you go to station, and when you go to the station, you pull a card out, and then they write it on your card. And so each station you're going to, you're getting a different card of clubs, hearts, spades, whatever, and then the number. Yep. I gave so many 7s away. It was the weirdest thing. Like we kept taking bets on if I'd pull a 7 out. And
Like I probably shouldn't admit this, but we had one card in our deck that had a black Mountain Cog sticker in it.
no way.
On it. And it was the Ace of Spades.
Oh my God.
And like it was so funny when people would come up and be like, "What's that black card?" I'm like, "I don't know." And to see how many people would like actually take it, it was about 50-50.
No, was it really?
I think we gave out a lot of Ace of Spades at the Mountain Cog stand.
We didn't do anything weird. I just was keeping track, and it was like 7s and 8s or something. I can't remember what the 2 were, but there was 2 in particular. We started writing it down. It was so
many.
common. Yeah, it was really weird. So statistically, it'd be fun if you did statistics, but probably not. Never mind.
No, we don't want that. No.
And then like a lot of local businesses and bike companies donated swag.
Yeah,
Right?
so-
not just swag, but like good shit.
So to finish the ride, you get your card filled, and then you get back to the start, and that's where you're talking about.
That's where everybody starts
that's
tallying.
food trucks and the prizes and music and like.
We had Al was doing some of the DJing there.
Oh, yeah.
And giving out the prizes. But yeah, so we have a lot of volunteers that help us with the counting, help us with all the swag, and just and as you win, board members get to walk you to go get your prizes. So that's fun. And yeah, so you get to hang out. So it's really an event. We start about 7. You get back at noon, and then we normally end up around 2 p.m. So come prepared, bring your kids. We're really wanting to, have families that can come. I think we had Nick.
Yeah, Nick brought his kids.
And
my daughter.
And your daughter was out there.
Yeah.
And so they had a different route. And then, it was just, really fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. And I actually was at Sweetwater this weekend riding, and I had a group of riders, and they said, why can't you do this twice a year?
Yeah. Well, we were thinking the same thing,
I think we should.
And or a variant of something, the party. a group ride. It was really fun.
No racing.
You know? Yeah, it wasn't about egos. You know, it was kind of it was luck of the draw, literally. So it was really fun.
I mean, if I have to get, I think
scavenger hunt at Mackenzie.
Oh,
how do you do a scavenger hunt in the desert?
Very carefully.
Like, okay, go get a rock. You're looking for a rock.
Screw you for poo-pooing my idea.
I'm just saying.
Higgins.
I'm like, that's probably why I don't do scavenger.
It's the most dangerous scavenger.
Yes, it is. If you get bit by a rattlesnake, it's your fault.
I wonder
That's in the liability form, right?
I wonder if you could do like a geocaching one, like where you have to hit certain points and then write down on your card what's in the geo and then put it back and then go. That'd be kind of cool.
It can be a scavenger hunt where you have to find stuff and like we ask a question like, what did you find or something like that?
Yeah.
So they don't have to be digging around in
or trivia. Like, you know, like you could do something, play on like green tree, you know, find a green tree, you know.
It's called a palo verde.
I know, but that's what I mean. So, something, I don't know.
Palo verde.
It's fun. You know, the idea that it's not a race, it's fun. I think that's the up and coming thing. I think a lot of people are getting tired of races. Racing can be fun. My daughter started racing. I think it's really fun. We've got the Anna and a lot of the East Siders are getting into racing.
Yeah.
Cynthia is doing great, you know, so there's a bunch of people out racing and it's fun.
They have a team for the 24.
Yeah, I know. And 24 is next,
Yeah.
not this weekend, but next weekend. And so racing's still fun, but I think that party and that, you know, not taking it so serious, you know.
Let's just all get together and have something organized to ride our bike.
Yeah.
It's more than just a ride, though.
Yeah.
It's more than just come out and ride. It's like
it's about community, and I think it was so nice to see all the other, bike shop owners, the Torca, board members that were there. It was just nice, a time that we all get to chat and get ideas about what else we want to do in this community.
Yeah, and it brings everybody together. You know, a lot of the people kind of get in their own groups and do their own thing, but it brought everybody together. I saw the Lemonheads, I saw the Addicts out there, I saw, SDMB and Torca, like you said. I see Old Pueblo and
these are all like either
just
advocacy groups or like social ride groups that are throughout our local area here.
We usually hang out in their own little cliques, but everybody came together for it. It was really cool. You see the downhillers, you see the cross-country runners, you see the cross-country people, everything. Yeah. So it's really cool.
And the little kids.
And the kids.
The little kids.
And don't forget the kids.
They felt like they were,
rocking
and rolling.
Nick with his daughter on that
so
pull
cute.
behind
I know.
is so funny.
Yeah.
She's like, wee!
Charlotte.
Yeah. I took a nice picture
She's
of her.
a trooper, man. I'd like to put a GoPro on there and just see how much she bobs around.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with you on your picture taking, by the way.
Oh, why?
She put a picture of you and me hugging.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loved it.
I know.
Everybody loved it.
Did you see I was standing on the curb?
The bromance, yeah.
That's my favorite part of that is I'm like, look, I'm standing on the curb just so I can reach.
Oh, that's so funny. So what was it like to organize it, though? So that's kind of like what the event was like, but what was it like to organize it? If you're, like 30% of our listeners in Tucson, most of them are outside of Tucson. If other folks are thinking about putting this together, like give them the playbook. Like, how do you set this up?
Well, I think have a great board that we're a bunch of slackers. We use a Slack app.
They use Slack app to communicate.
We do, and so we get to communicate there really well. We Zoom, and we just what makes it easy is like all of the like literally the bike shop saying, hey, you have poker, like we have something to donate. So that makes it a lot easier because we know we're always asking and everyone's always asking, but that made it a lot easier, and just really reaching out and having new folks, like having TJ from El Tour, it's just nice to have him there, having Torca out there, having Mario from Tucson Cycle Shop. I mean, and he's got some great ideas. He wants to work with us with the kids and stuff. It was just these are all because of that. I'm meeting more people, so to me it's just I just get so excited about it. It doesn't feel like volunteer work, because I have a full-time job and then I have another real-time job after my job. And I like this one a lot, but I just, it makes me like really talk to, I'm really an introvert. I know a lot of people don't know that, but so it really, makes me get out and talk to people.
Get you
one
out
of the
your
things I said
zone.
when I joined SDMB is like, I don't ask for things. I don't like to sell things. I can sell an idea.
Yeah.
You know, I can bring people together, but I don't want to call Dane and say, "Can I have a bike to raffle?" I don't like to do that.
It's tough.
But there's good people on our board that do that really well. You know, but for me, I mean, I think, you know, that's what makes it easier, but it is time consuming and, you know, and just having, I mean, I think this is the third one I've worked on. And so it just makes it, you know, a lot easier. And I'm good about saving everything and organizing everything on our Google Drive. So I think that makes it a lot easier. But, if anyone has a question, definitely call me.
It's a lot of work.
It starts with having the course mapped out, right?
Oh,
like,
yes.
You got to know, like, you got to have a facility that's got like ample parking, which, you know, you guys picked Tucson Mountain Park, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's another thing, working with the Tucson Mountain Park, the Pima County, the city of Tucson, getting the permits. Yeah. So it's gotten easier for us to get the permits. And then we have, you know, people like Kent, who's on the board, who likes to, you know, map out the ride and pick out the stations. And so, you know, everyone contributes to it. But yeah, definitely you do have to make sure that you have those permits. Another thing that some people, if you want to put something in your community, we do have insurance.
Yep.
We have to have insurance to put these rides on. And I know some folks ask, like, gosh, you know, why do you have a membership? Aren't you a social, you know, riding group?
It's the opposite.
It is. You know, we have a membership. It's $40. It's $40, and you get a lot for the $40. And one of which is having insurance. So, you know, and the city and the county, they all have insurance, but we also have insurance. We have to have insurance to put something out, you know, like organized like this. And it's hefty. You know, it is hefty. Cheap. So your $40, I know people say, well, what does the $40 go to? Well, it pays for that. It pays for our, you know, website. It pays for, you know, the pop-up. It pays for, you know,
the tools
the tools. Yeah, I forgot, you know. What do we do? We do trail building. We trail maintenance. We have a trailer that we store this. So that's where some of your money is going, you know, so that we are able to, you know, get to our trails.
You guys don't have a paid executive director at this point.
We do not.
No. Every single person is a volunteer
exactly. Today. We had one for a little bit, and that was Evan. And Evan did you know, I mean, he's awesome. People know him. He didn't feel that, you know, that it was, you know, it was a good thing. You know, I think he you know, thought the money should stay with the organization, and he just did it for a little bit as a paid executive. But he was the president for SDMB for a long time and did a lot for this community.
I think he did a lot. And I've said this before. I feel like he did a lot for the Tucson. I think he earned his money because it wasn't a lot. You know,
it wasn't very much.
It wasn't his main job or anything.
But that was that was like a high point for like new trail development in Tucson, right? Yeah. There's a lot of trail systems that got built and put in place during the time that he was an executive director.
Yeah,
I have to imagine that was a big part of it. It's the fact that he had
he dedicated more time. He used the money that he was getting and actually used it. You know what I mean? Like he put it towards the goal, and it was noticeable. Like, and so I was always happy about that. Like I like Evan. He's a great guy, and I've been happy with that. Anytime you have a bunch of volunteers there, you know that the fact that they're volunteering, they're amazing people. Like their hearts are in the right place and they're trying to help, but they also have to pay their bills and they've got all these other things, and it's like hard to split their time and everything. And no matter how good they are, it's hard to put a ton into something.
Wouldn't it be great if Evan came back to Tucson?
Is he coming back?
I can't publicly say that. Oh. Wouldn't it be great if he was?
You know, and that's, you know, I mean, I think our board is made up of, you know, a good number of people who are also retired. Yeah. Our immediate, past president, Kirk, he's an archaeologist as well. So he was really knowledgeable. He is really knowledgeable. And because of all of his work, I think, and not, you know, knowledge of, you know, how to work with the land managers, how to work with the mayor of, you know, say, Oro Valley, that really is something that is needed, because a lot of us don't have the time to go meet, you know, at the hours that these folks can meet, or go ride and take them to some of the sites, you know, that need to be preserved. And so having people who have the time to do that during regular working hours is awesome, and having the knowledge and just, you know, able to tell our story and say, you know, it's not just about mountain. I mean, I know we all want to say it's all about mountain biking, but there's just so much more, you know, with riding your bike, building community, and having something that's sustainable. Yeah, that's going to be there for years and years and years, you know.
Yeah, people don't look at like what's behind the scenes, what it takes to get everything done.
And
they kind of sometimes, get gripey, about stuff because they're not really thinking about all of the cogs in the background that they can't really see. And they're just like, why don't you do more rides? And you're like,
just
wait
the
a minute.
amount of work that goes into just trail maintenance, like brushing the trail system.
Yep.
I've probably put 100 hours in this year.
Well, and that's one layer. You go next to the layer, like Ruth's talking about, you need to make sure you have insurance. You need to make sure you have tools. Then the layer beyond that, you need to go get permits and make sure the land manager's okay with it. Like there's all these layers that the person who's just doing the trail maintenance may only see the first layer. And there's so much more. And our advocacy groups are, I've said this before, they're the ones doing all of that. And the biggest thing that we can do as riders is appreciate it. Like that's the least you can do, right?
Well, and become a member.
Becoming a member is the next level, right?
Yeah.
So appreciating it, then becoming a member, then getting involved, then volunteering, and then kind of leading something. Those are all the layers that you can do as a rider to help out.
And there's so much in, Pima County has an awesome trail building and maintenance course, and Lacey did it. I did it recently, and saw our Torca guys out there as well, and that is a requirement that the county has if you're going to work out there. And so you have to have someone who is certified, and then you can lead a group, and it's just neat, just to learn, how to work on it. I mean, to me, it's physical, it's neat. My favorite. I'm probably the smallest always person on the trail crew, but my favorite is the Picmatic.
Really?
Oh, that's my favorite.
That's because you're low center of gravity.
It is, and it gives me a
pick, like a giant pick.
and it's heavy, but you don't have to exert a lot of it looks like it looks pretty cool, but as a short person, it really gives me more bang for a buck. And believe me, at Mount Graham, when we were hiking up and down like 2-3 miles in, it was not the easiest, tool but I love it. Like, don't touch my hand. That's my
funny.
favorite.
That is my least favorite tool.
Oh, really?
Is the Picmatic.
Wait, so we did the trail maintenance out at Sweetwater, and every time I take Jilly out there or Turner, like I ride that section and I go, see that?
I did that.
I did that. And that's the thing about trail advocacy, and maintenance and building and all of that is like, it's amazing how much it means to you down the road when you contribute.
You look back and you're like, I did that.
Yeah, I never did that before. I rode the trail and just was like, I rode the trail.
That's how poker was, because the first poker, I had just, I decided, that I was going to do trail work because of my neighbor, Max Shumwell, who passed away, but I was supposed to volunteer with him, and he was ill, and he couldn't. So I promised that I would do it. And that's what I did. And I met Neil out there, and I met Evan before I even joined SDMB, and I worked on the portal in the Explorer. And when I did, when I rode my first poker and my only poker,
you were on those trails.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I worked on that. It really was,
It does. It gives you such a great feeling. I really stress that everybody who rides a trail should go out and do it at least once a year at the minimum. And then when you get that feeling, you'll get almost addicted and want to do it more.
So your favorite tool is the Picmatic. What's your favorite tool, Dane?
I like the McLeod.
Okay. Super versatile.
Really, you can do so much with it. I like to move dirt. I like to dig dirt. It does both. I think that's my favorite. I've chopped down little bushes to get them out of the way with it.
Yeah.
Probably not in the nicest way, but it was therapeutic.
Well, and I do want to shout out, and now that I'm thinking about trail work, Evan, I talked to Evan, and because I was the only woman that went in, for my first trail work day. And I said, Evan, I really want to have a day out here with just women. Can you do that for me? And he goes, yeah. And we did it, and we had like 15 women to come out. And
That's
it was
awesome.
just so much fun because, I want women to not be afraid of mountain biking or trail work because it's fun and it's just, you get so much pride out of doing the work, and and you're going to learn a lot, and not just for trail, but you can do some of this work at home, if you want to garden. But
I'm building trails at my house.
Yeah. And so anyway, we do have those days set up, where we can have trail days that are just for that where women can come out and ride. We have some social rides that are just for women, and some trail days that are just for women. We have some skills clinics that are just for women. We can get into that a little bit more if you want.
Yeah,
I love the so I don't know, Josh and I have talked about this before, how we really want to see more women get into the sport. We want to do whatever we can to support that. I do feel like it's working. Not us in particular, but I feel like I see way more out there. It could be because I'm riding a lot with my daughter. I don't know. Sometimes it could be because I'm looking for it. But man,
could be because Homegrown is kicking ass and Jody is kicking ass.
Yeah, there's all these people.
We've got like some women's clinic,
SDMB, the Dirt Divas at Old Pueblo. Like I just feel like
Tucson Lady Shredders.
The Lady Shredders. There's so many more organizations than there used to be. Because I remember Varnique, who does Lady Shredders, I believe. She used to do the Bell Joyride, and that was the only one that I remember at that time. And I mean, when I was racing downhill, we had stickers on our bikes that said "Ride like a girl," and because we would ride with like a couple of the pros, and I used to just envy that I could be as fast as Melissa Buell, And so it's grown, because back then there would be one girl at South Mountain that we would ride with, and I go there now. And I see them all over the place, and I do see the progress, which is great.
And that's why that was one of my motivations of joining SDMB, is because I bought my first mountain bike when I turned 52, 8 years ago.
Wow!
And I did know.
There's no way you were 52 8 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no way.
She's just totally pulling
That's
your leg.
bullshit.
Yeah.
I do not believe that.
She just turned like 50. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, that bike does.
No, I'm not trying to like be nice.
I will
Seriously?
be 60 years old.
Shut
on the
the
20th.
front door.
Yeah.
You know what? Between her and Bev and a lot of the ladies that I've ridden with,
It's mountain biking keeps you young.
I think so. I really do.
I think so. I think that, there you go.
I think so.
Ruth, I was putting you at early 40s.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to.
All right. Yeah.
Dane, I was putting you at like late 60s.
Hey, if I shave this off, I look like a shaven 60-year-old.
I don't even know where to go with that. I'm just going to leave that alone.
I'm going to just skip over that. But no, really,
It's true.
Jesus. Sorry.
Sorry,
Sorry,
so when
I didn't even know that.
That was perfect.
I just pushed buttons.
Just random buttons.
No, but when I came on the board, and when I was out riding, I did see just more males, not a lot of women, not a lot of people of color either, and I'm like, okay, well, that's the thing, is that I'm going to get on this board, and I'm going to make sure that we have that our board is more representative of our community.
Yep.
And I think we have 4 women on the board now.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, it's a great board. And, and one of the things I'm doing I write with Fuga on Sundays, once a month I go out there. It's,
I don't know what Fuga is.
Fuga is, Familias Unidas Ganando Accesibilidad, which is Families United Gaining Accessibility. And that's in Ward 1. And that's with Lane, Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And so one of the things that they're doing is trying to get more people on bikes, right?
Okay.
And riding, less driving.
Okay.
And having, people riding, downtown. So one of our goals is to help get people who are riding downtown to also have an easy access into Tucson Mountain Park, and so we are working with, different groups. And so I decided, I'm going to go, this is a group of people that don't normally mountain bike. And some of them do. And so I'm like, I mountain bike, and I want to see more of you people mountain biking, and right in your backyard. This is a mountain, these mountains that I ride an hour to get here, you should be, using your mountain bike. So, or we can get mountain bikes to you. And so we have ideas that we want to work with some of this, with Jody, with girls and with young, kids, after school, maybe with Mario, with Droopy. I think he's one of the leaders of the ride. And he's a teacher, and he has an after school program for mountain bikes. So there's so much that we can do. And I'm just so excited. I'm all over the place. I definitely want to just work with everybody in town. Yeah. Adaptive bikes, I mean, that's another group that I'm interested in. So there's so much to do. We want more people in the community to join SDMB, because we have different tasks for you, different jobs, different committees that you can be on. Because, we just want more people on bikes.
Yeah.
Less people driving, more people on bikes. I mean, we'll be happy.
We saw an adaptive bike at Sweetwater. Remember that?
We did.
That's Greg.
Yeah.
I just saw him on Saturday, and we've been in communication. And,
he was awesome.
And who's really an expert too? Is Jody.
Oh, yeah.
So Jody partners with SDMB. So she runs our...
So we're talking about Jody Bartz.
Jody Bartz with Sonoran Endurance.
She's been a guest on our podcast before.
A couple times.
Grow, girl, grow.
Yep.
And she just does great for the community, and she's just such an awesome person. But she definitely, wants to work with us, not just with girls and young and the youth, but also with adaptive bikes. You know, so that's another thing. Hopefully, we'll be seeing a little bit more of from SDMB.
So that's a key part. So of our proposal for Colossal Cave, which is like flow trails, that's one of the things we're working on. One of the key aspects there is that it has green, blue, and black flow trails, and that the green and blue are set up to be adaptive, and the climb trail as well. The black, I don't know, and maybe Greg can help advise us because I'm not sure about big drops and stuff like that, like how that works.
Yeah.
But I think for sure on the green and blue trails, we can make those wide enough and set them up for adaptive riders and offer a whole new experience, not just to all the mountain bikers in Tucson, but to the adaptive riders in Tucson.
Yeah. That inclusivity is great. So it's bringing more people into the sport. I do love it. I feel like mountain biking in general is like that. Like our personalities are kind of drawn to it, and it kind of brings that out in our personalities.
Is that true? You think the bro culture is really attuned to that? I'm going to challenge you on that.
Yeah. So I think there is always a little segment, right? Of people that get in their clique and do their thing. I see it, I see it with the groups in town. There's some that are more welcoming than others. And there's always the kind of like, you get the upper echelon of the speed demons that kind of are like, trying to, jockey for who's the fastest or does the biggest stuff or whatever. But in general, mountain bikers are pretty much say hi. They stop and help each other if there's a problem. It's just a friendly atmosphere. If you show up at a parking lot in a city you don't know and it's a mountain biking parking lot and you ask, hey, can I tag along?
They'll say yeah.
Most of the time they'll say yeah. And if they don't, it's a rarity, But there's other cultures and other types of cycling, whether it's maybe we do a lot of triathlons, and I don't think triathlons are unfriendly in any way. They're really
You do
nice.
a lot of triathlons?
No, God, no. If you see me running, you should start running.
And you did it.
But we help a lot of triathletes, and I love triathletes. Triathletes are super hardworking. They're really dedicated, really goal orientated. They set goals and they go for them. But a lot of times I see that they train by themselves. They do it on their own, maybe to fit time or what have you, but they're real dedicated to that training.
Yeah.
And then road bikers, there's all kinds of spectrum on that too. You have the loop riders to the amateur, pros and the wannabe pros and then the actual pros. And
we get all that in Tucson because of our amazing road biking opportunities.
If you've ever ridden up Mount Lemmon on a road bike and you're sucking wind and kind of hating life, because that's how I feel when I'm climbing Mount Lemmon, and your head's down and you're tired and you're focused on your breathing and you're just trying to make it 26 miles up straight up to 10,000 feet. If somebody waves and says, hey, you may not say hey back. And
I'm just going to say the only reason to ride a bike up Mount Lemmon is to do a self-supported lemon drop.
No, it can be really fun.
Really?
I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but we used to have friends that were hill climbers and they hated coming down Mount Lemmon on the road.
Yeah, it's sketchy.
And we would do a key transfer. And so what we would do is we would drive up and park the car. They would ride up with a set of keys, and then we would bomb down with a set of their keys, and then we wouldn't have to do a shuttle. No joke. I'm not kidding. And because they I think there could be a shuttle service for taking roadies down, because they love the climb. They love to get up. They love the exercise. They love
This is interesting. A reverse shuttle concept.
A reverse shuttle. So I've said this forever. We need a shuttle company that starts at the bottom, drops off mountain bikers as they go, then hangs out at the top where they can pick up the road bikers and then drive them back down. Now, a lot of road bikers love coming down at 45, 50 miles an hour. So, but there's a lot that don't. They don't want that. They don't want to be on their brakes the whole time.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah,
it's definitely scary.
So,
but going back to this community, I mean, I think it's it was a scary thing for me to join a group, and it was the best thing. I joined Old Pueblo and the Dirt Divas, and now the Dirt Divas have their own page on Facebook, and
so they don't get lost in
in the shuffle, and it's just grown, and so it's really given a voice for people who maybe wouldn't have posted a ride on the open, but they're now. I mean, my friend Joanne from Canada, she's leading, some rides, through Dirt Diva and website, and it's just really nice to see that, people are so welcoming. I mean, I'm not afraid, I'm not embarrassed, to ride with, we always say, it's a no drop. And I'm telling you, it is a no drop group. And some of the fastest riders that I've ridden with Old Pueblo, some days you just don't feel like being up at the front, or you can't be up in the front like me, but, and you can't even be in the middle group.
What's it like at the front? I've never been there.
The one time I was at the front, you were on this ride. I was a night ride up at Sweetwater, and I'm like, I take blood in my mind. And then he's like, oh, yeah, that's just, you're fine. I'm like, no, And it's like, I was sucking, but I was behind Luke and the boys. And it's like, but I quickly, went another direction after we got to the top because I thought I was dying. But anyway, I mean, I just love that, these are people who ride really well, but they don't mind saying, let me session this with you.
Yeah.
Or after the ride, let's go back and do let's go down Lost Arrow or up, Lost Arrow. And it's just,
sometimes
amazing,
sometimes you got to shut the Strava off and just have fun.
You're a Strava hater.
I got Jilly. You got Jilly on it, and then
Mountain Cog got Jilly.
Mountain Cog, yes, I got Jilly on Strava because she's racing now, and so she is loving it. Like we get done with practice, and I go pick her up, and she's like, "Let's go do another lap, you and me," and I'm like, "Yeah,
Scanner today, my 15-year-old.
Yeah.
He texted me from school, Dad, I want to do a mountain bike ride today.
Nice.
I was like,
yes. Doing like the happy dance, and then you got to get back on. Okay, well, I'll see if I can make that happen.
We'll see. I'm not sure. But
let me check my schedule.
I'm like, Dan, I can't do the podcast. Scanner wants to ride.
It's true. I mean, that's kind of the best feeling when you can share, what you love with somebody else, and they actually love it back. And so you can take that from just your kids to the whole community. And I think the mountain bike community tends to do that almost automatically. There's definitely exceptions. There's definitely jerks in everything. But for the most part, I think the majority of the mountain bikers are really welcoming, and they want to see people get into it,
And we have, it's a nice segue to SDMB's Be Cool campaign. That's part of our advocacy, is that we have been really, working in this community to instill just the bike, a bike etiquette, and it's really just don't be an asshole. Really just be courteous. If you're going up or down, I mean, there are rules of, who has the right of way, but, you need to read the, who's on the trail and get off your bike and give them the right of way. You're on a bike, man. But
the official rule is the climber has the right of way.
Right. Because they're doing more of the work, right?
Here's my official rule. Is just be cool.
Just be cool.
Like, seriously, like be nice. And if you're bombing down and some guy going up is like, sees that and moves out of the way and lets you go, make sure you're thankful as you go by and say, hey, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
And same thing. If you're going, up and somebody stops, and gets out of the way so that you can go by them, just say thank you.
When
just
always
be nice.
announce, there's one more behind me.
Yes.
Because they're being courteous and getting off of the trail, and so it's always nice to be courteous. And, and sometimes somebody's rude and you just, say, have a great hike or a great ride. Because you're kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness.
And you're representing all of us.
You're representing all of us.
The bad apples kind of ruin it for everybody. And so if you are constantly just being nice and friendly and making conversation with hikers or, whoever is out there.
And I've seen a difference. I really have seen a difference. In everyone, from bikers to hikers to horse, equestrians, trail runners, everyone is, I think, understanding that it is a most of our trails, they're all multi-purpose trails, and we just need to be cool. Don't be an asshole.
And if somebody is a jerk, you can still be nice. And because that makes them the jerk and you're not the jerk. When you, no joke. When I tell my kids this all the time, when they go to fight each other, I'm like, look, if they're being a jerk to you and you're a jerk back, now you're both jerks. Why don't you just stick to not being the jerk? They'll look bad and you'll know that you weren't the jerk. So, So if somebody is like giving you a hassle on the trail, that does happen. You know, we've been on some hikes or rides with hikers that just didn't feel like we were supposed to be out there and literally told us we're not allowed to, you know, and
Yeah. You're like, listen, we know the laws.
yeah, we're like, hey, the ranger's right over there. Go ask them. But if you react poorly back, then they have more artillery.
Yeah, just be cool. I like that. That's a great, super simple.
I got a hat that says "Be cool."
Be cool.
Be cool.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I want to come back a little bit to the outreach and inclusion. Like we've had on this podcast an objective for a long time. Like since we even started it, like before we put out our first episode, we said one of the things that we're going to try to do is help bring more women into the sport. Mm-hmm. And so like 2 questions for you. Mm-hmm. The first question is, and we get this question all the time, like what can men do if they want to get their girlfriend or wife or significant other or sister or whoever to come mountain bike? What should they do and what shouldn't they do? What do you think, Ruth?
Should I give you Jody's?
No. I want Ruth's perspective because Jody's already told us twice.
Yes, twice.
Fuck out of the way. Yeah. No. I mean, I think that, just don't try to, mansplain, right? I mean, you've heard that over and over and just, be a resource, be a resource and be inclusive and don't say, I had one person, say, hey, I want to ride with you. But I'm going to ride with the guys first so I can, ride fast.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll do another ride with you. And that really.
So this is a man saying that to his wife, like, let me go ride with the boys so I can get a real ride in, and then I'll come down to your level.
I mean, maybe you might have that in the back of your mind.
Shit, I did
But
that.
I know many women who can outrace a lot of you guys. So.
Well, no.
I'm married to one of them,
yes,
just for the record.
exactly. I know that. And I think it's like, just watch what you say, because it I think a lot of women, are, just wondering, am I saying the right thing? I mean, we say thingy or for on a bike, whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're out there riding, you're doing a great job. And I think one of the things that I think that I've ridden with, Pueblo with a lot of the guys with Nat up and, if it weren't for Nat and Dave who said you can ride,
the graham cracker,
I'm like, I can't do that. It's like they just said, yeah, you can, I think just be positive, just know that women can do just the same things or more than you can. Yeah. And don't try and mansplain or don't try or say things like that are really, you think it's funny or you think that you're not really saying something that's hurtful, but I didn't want to ride with that person anymore because it's like, oh, you're really telling me that when you ride with me, I'm not really pushing your limit, but
it's not fun.
That's
for you.
not fun. And then it's not fun, and I don't want to ride with you anymore.
Okay, so we got to watch what we say, be cognizant of the words that we use. I've developed after talking to so many different women and having so many different women on the podcast. Mm-hmm. I've developed this perspective that. If I was, and it was my wife that brought me into mountain biking, by the way. Mm-hmm. But if I was, so I'm the inverse or the reverse, whatever. Yeah. But if I was in that situation, that I would try to advocate for my wife or significant other to find other women to ride with, because I think like that's where the power comes from. It's like women riding other women, like the female clinic, the women clinics, they're just amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like seeing them from afar. Like I've gone up to Angel Fire with Homegrown when Lacey was there for a women's clinic. And just watching like the camaraderie and how they help each other, it's way different in a men's clinic.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, you suck.
Yeah. Well, everybody's got their chest out. And
everyone's like,
something.
I can do that. You can't. Yeah. Sucks.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the bottom. It's not like that.
It is so different. And that's the tough thing for me. So you said something, and I was like, oh man, I just did that with Jilly because we're going up to pre-ride her race course. She's faster than me, by the way. So
yeah, you said you wanted to bring your e-bike so you could keep up with her.
Yes, exactly. I can't keep up with her on my regular bike. So we're going to go do the pre-ride, and then afterwards we're going to go to this section of trail, this area called Hawes in Phoenix, and it's got a lot of technical, and I like technical and jumping off and big stuff. And I told Jilly, I go, maybe if one of your friends goes, you guys can go do the lower section, I can go jump off of stuff. But that wasn't because I didn't think she could do it. It's because she's on a 100 mil lightweight cross country bike, and I'm going to be on a 160 mil, all mountain bike. And so, and here's Dick. Yeah. So here's the thing that my daughter said. She goes, I want to do technical too. Mm-hmm. And so now we're taking 2 bikes. Mm-hmm. So she's going to ride my altitude while I ride my big bike. And so we're going to go do it. And so That's
you guys going Saturday or Sunday?
I will tell you this, and this is why I brought this up, is because sometimes I feel like I'm afraid to talk to women because I don't want to say something that hurts them or makes them feel that way.
I mean, if I looked at like you, I'd be afraid to talk to women.
True. Well, usually I don't have to because they run as soon as they see me.
They run towards you.
But what I really admired about my daughter is she just looked me in the eyes and just said, "I want to ride technical." There was no hesitation.
Like, shut up, Dad.
She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go too."
And that's how you should. I mean, I've ridden Haws. I rode Haws 2 weeks after I had surgery.
On your ankle or leg?
No.
Oh.
I had abdominal surgery.
Okay.
I had an injury from the gym.
Oh.
But and so I had
gym.
I know stupid gym. I mean, like trying to get stronger, and I think I'm really strong, so I'm lifting weights that I probably a little too heavy for me. But anyway, that's just the way I do things. But I had a couple of guys who said, "Let's ride," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, And I went to the doctor. Doctor said, "Yeah, you're not going to hurt yourself. Just go up. You can do it."
Yeah.
And and they didn't even hesitate. They're like, "You can do it." And I'm like, "I don't know what I'm doing, but that's how I just go." I'm like, "Okay."
Haws is fucking awesome, isn't it?
It's
my
awesome.
gosh,
Yeah.
it was awesome. But I can tell you, I mean, I probably said a few curse words, going up.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the trails right now, but one of them, it was very technical, one of them. But they didn't say like, "Oh, you can't do it." They just said, "You're doing it," you know? And so that's the thing is it's just don't assume that just because it's a woman or a young woman that they can't do something. And that's where I find that, men, I want to say is that, men can be the enemy. They don't have to be. You don't have to be. And I think I've learned a lot. I've been pushed up to the limits on my bike, because, somebody like Nat, who said, you can do this.
He's an amazing rider.
Or like Mike D, I did a gravel ride up there and, at Mount Graham with my mountain bike, and I was cussing them all the way. And if Nat didn't have Leche Guia, I don't know if I would have killed some people because I was not happy. But the downhill, because he and I were on mountain bikes, it was so much fun when we'd go up and then we'd, I think I was going like 27 miles an hour, and it was Lacey, I think, who, that's when I discovered that, I don't even have Strava, but because of All Trails, Trailforks, I mean, it goes onto the free Strava. And so she gave me kudos, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, how fast was I going?
Yeah.
So, anyway, but I just think that, women can do everything or more than you can do on your bike. And I think at this point, just treat us the same. We're just your equal.
I just liked my daughter's reaction because she did not take it as a boy-girl thing.
Yeah,
she took it as I want to go do that too. And I was like, well, and then I had to explain to her it had nothing to do with her being a girl or a kid or anything. It's like you have 100 millimeters of travel. I don't want you to get hurt because you're a bike. Mm-hmm. So I'm a bikesist. Mm-hmm. Is that a thing? A bikesist? It's like I'll judge you on your bike. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, I took her Switchblade. She has a Switchblade, a pivot that we take to the bike parks, and she does that. And then it's in the back here. And I was like, well, I don't have a bike for you. And so I got her this lightweight pivot SL to race on. God, sounds so...
Well, you own a bike shop, bro.
Yeah,
it's
I
okay.
know.
It's okay. Yeah. You own a bike shop.
It's like, geez, God, what is this guy doing? Anyway, I am poor. And I drive
a bike shop.
A 2001 van. So
but his daughter's got 14 pivots.
Yes, exactly. It's true. It's the typical, the van is not worth as much as one of the bikes. Right. But anyway, long story short, she, her reaction to it was, hey, she didn't take it a certain way. She just went straight to the I want to ride.
She knows you, and she knows what's in your heart.
Yeah. Well, and I think, that she's taking, these skills clinics are worth way more than you have to pay for them because, I've learned so much from Jody. SDMB, she partners with us. We do put, and we're going to have some this spring, all women skills clinics. Yeah. And one of the things she says is don't ever say sorry.
Yeah.
Don't say sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't say sorry. And just that changing that mindset
surprise
early on. Say surprise.
Yep, that's what she says.
And I think like women of my generation, we have been taught to say sorry or like, oh, I'm too slow, or you go ahead of me, or, and I think the young women that are finishing her course, they're not thinking like that. They're not. And that's where we need to start, these clinics, are important. I'm going to give a shout out to the Harris Foundation because we have a grant. We're going to write another grant. And that's how we offset the cost. You pay $20 for a class,
right.
Worth way more than that.
Yeah.
But the Harris Foundation, pays, the other part of what we pay the coaches. And I think that's the thing, is that just being more supportive of these types of events in town, really having, and not just women. I mean, I think there are people underserved, kids, and I think Jody's working with those as well in the schools near Freedom Park.
Yep.
And I think it's just giving that confidence of, I can ride the heck out of any bike, or run on these trails or what have you. And I think it's just. That's a lot of work, that she's working on, not just on the bicycle. That's just an aside. They're going to learn how to do that quickly. It's just having that ability to have somebody who believes in you and doesn't treat you differently because of your age or your gender or the color of your skin, And I think for men, if you want, really just the first step is just knowing that, women have had to take a lot of, being second class, in everything, in the industry, in any industry, in jobs or bikes, and that, that you guys at least are asking the questions, and just, just knowing that you might say something, that somebody might say that's not cool. And
and you should
don't
care.
be offended.
Yeah.
You should care.
You should care that you said that and recognize it. That's one thing that I think is great about as we evolve as people is we get this kind of like change happens and then a knee-jerk reaction happens, which is usually us not wanting the change, or not being upset about it in some way. And then the true higher, echelon of people sit back and go, why? Why don't I want that? Like, why am I so adverse to the change? Why can't I just, why is that bad? Like when you said, if you're including people, and you have a problem with the term inclusion, in your vocabulary, why is
we all want more people on bikes, man.
We want to include people,
more people, quantity of scale.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's economics.
Yeah.
More mountain bikers, the more trails.
Get a good bike. I think that was the other thing. Max Chamois, my neighbor, when I was, it was the day I was going to go buy a bike, and it just happened. It started raining, and my neighbor came back early from a ride, and then Max was unloading his bike, and he came over and he goes, "Hey, do you mountain bike?" And I'm like, "I'm going to go to the Trek store. I have an appointment. I'm going to go look at bikes." And they said, "Whatever you do, don't buy a bike. We're going to work with you." And I'm telling you, it took it is because if you buy the wrong bike, you're going to hate it. And, it was the best advice. And I'm telling you that evening I had, dinner with one of my neighbors. We talked bikes for a year and a half, but it took me 6 weeks, and I bought my bike with Steve at Bicycle Ranch. And I love that bike. They were great. But we went all over this town. We went to Tempe. We went to Scottsdale. We went to Phoenix. I found a bike out there, and I bought it, locally, and I still have that bike. I love that bike. But it just somebody took the time. I mean, this guy's an engineer, so he's
get really deep into that.
It was like we had to go in order, to go look at all of the different bikes and all that. But anyway, it was just really nice. Somebody took, like the bike community is like, "Oh, you're going to get the best bike for you," and it made such a difference, know. And so, it's just a great community. So, I think definitely having the right bikes. We know a lot of people with, lots of knowledge.
Yes, if you're trying to figure out what bike to get a hold of us, and we will find someone. Either we will help you, we will find someone in your local area that can help you. Navigate that, because it can be a little overwhelming at the beginning.
Well, that's I do a lot of research on the bike industry, and one of the things that the bike industry has got a bad black eye from is that kind of. I think what a lot of women feel comes from a lot of bike shops, and I don't see it here. I feel like our staff is really, really super aware of people, but I just hear stories like crazy, and then I'll go to a different city, and sometimes you'll see that,
experience it,
and it's tough because I don't know where it comes from. It
doesn't make any sense too, because like, okay, I'm not going to service you or take care of you well because you don't speak my language or you don't know all the infinite details. But you're a fucking business, bro.
Yeah.
Don't you want to sell a bike?
I know.
So like, shouldn't you service anybody that walks in?
And I think it depends on the, I mean, if they are on commission or something, because it's like, well, we're going to take a lot of time to get this,
That's true.
4'11" 3/4 size person. And so what my neighbor did is he called all the shops and he says, this is my friend, this is her size. You need to have an extra. That's what it took 8 weeks to find my bike.
Yeah.
Because most bikes don't have an extra small, right? And so I'm telling you, so he called him and said, you need to have a bike ordered. You need to have it set up.
Yeah.
And then I get there and he goes, you need to cut the stem on and they're like, and he says, you want to sell a bike? And I wouldn't have done that because I didn't know anything about bikes.
You didn't know it could be done.
I didn't know it could be done. He says, you want to sell the bike? He says, and you know what? So he knew what to say. And so I'm grateful for that. You
had an advocate.
I had an advocate.
Here's the weird thing is our conversation is like he took control, kind of led you through that and helped you learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where is the line? Where's the
where's
the mansplaining line? Because I can't figure it out.
No, and that's
we are totally ignorant in this. I'm
that's
perfectly honest.
What I'm saying is like I don't think women would completely want to shut you out. It's like it is a sport that's more male dominant, right? And so I knew that, and so it's just not letting somebody say this is what you're going to get, and that was what he knew. I mean, and I think if you know me, you're not going to just
push
buy a bike for me and say you're going to ride this. He made sure he says that we're going to do our homework. You're going to do we're going to here's a man and so he really made sure that I was ultimately making the decision. But he's like, I've ridden my bikes, a bike. I'm 60, he says, and I've ridden a bike since I was 3, So you do have that knowledge that I didn't,
He got to know you and he presented things to somebody who knew as a friend. And I think that's important. When you walk up to somebody you don't know, you shouldn't make assumptions.
And there was definitely different, different shops were different. Some were willing to just take all the time in the world to talk to me. But I can guarantee that, some wouldn't because I didn't know what I was looking for, and so I'm grateful for that. So I think that, as long as you're a resource and not shoving a bike, that you think is cool for this, he was there to help navigate and to, get the, I said, this is how much money I can spend. And this is,
How much more did you spend over your budget? It had to have been at least a little bit more.
It was a little bit more because, I want, he said, because, because of his experience, he said, you've got to have a tubeless. And at that time, the bike that it wasn't tubeless,
right.
and so I had to pay a little bit extra, but, it was, it was great having him there. So, I think, be a resource, but, just don't try and,
we call those the experts, like in the sales, in bike sales, we call that your expert. So you bring in your expert and, I try and teach the guys, not in a great way. Like I'm not a good teacher, but I try and tell them, at least give them an example that, you want to talk to the expert, but remember who's buying the bike. Don't ignore the person buying the bike and just talk to the expert. They're a team. You want to address both of them. You want to make sure, sometimes the experts kind of take the wheel and kind of control everything. And you have, as a salesperson, we have to kind of navigate that territory because we're trying to help the person who's going to get the bike, but the expert is the one that's going to actually make the decision sometimes, and so it's a tricky thing, to do.
I think, as a bike shop owner, I think, that's something that's important.
Yeah.
Especially, we tried, like when we do the women's clinic and stuff, I say, it's not scary to go into a bike shop because you guys, a lot of the bike shops here, especially in this town, definitely.
Tucson's bike town.
It is a bike town. And I think there's a lot of cool women that are out there riding and I think, you guys know better now, right?
Yeah.
Don't try and,
I got to tell you, I honestly am like super aware, much more since we've talked, I think we talked earlier that I talked to my wife about it because I'm like, hey, I consider myself fairly, very open-minded and very sensitive to people, and I really care about what affects them. And she's like, no, I don't think they're talking about you. And I'm like, okay. As long as, I just want to make sure that that's coming across. And I think her reaction was, what made me feel good is that her reaction was, I think when you tell somebody, like Jody's expression, what is it, attagirl? Or
attaboy.
She hates attagirl, right? And she goes, I think when it's how you say it is just way more important than
every
actually
time
what
I
you
see
say.
Jody, I say, "Atta girl."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Every time on the trail,
And your life.
Because it's
she knows I'm messing with her.
well,
right?
and it's the attitude. Like if you like when I'm praising Jillian, I'm like, you did awesome. Your race was great. My tone and my diction and the way that I speak to her is of true admiration that she's setting goals and achieving them. Not that I was surprised that as a girl she could do that. And I think that comes across. And so sometimes guys are pretty hard. Like they don't have a clue, and they say things and they don't understand. I'm finding this out with my kids. I keep telling my kids, they're like, I said good job, and I said, you said good job, and like it's the way you say it, and some people don't realize how much they transmit of themselves through the way they say something, even if they say the right words. So,
Ruth, what are you most excited about for the future of SDMB?
Gosh, we have so many projects coming along. We have the 100-acre park.
Yeah,
I think so. People should go online and
comment.
The city of Tucson has a survey out there. Oro Valley also has a working group. We're excited and partnering with and being on these committees and being there, trying to help pave the way for more trails. And these are, like we were talking earlier about it. It's not it's not sexy. It's not fun to have to sit here and say you're going to wait 10 years for something. But that's the way things get done. So just knowing that the community is asking SDMB to be a part of and help guide what the land managers are doing, what the city of Tucson is doing. So, I think I'm excited that there's just so much that we want to do and that we can do, and that there's a lot of excitement that we're working, partnering with like Torca and other organizations to really, keep building and maintaining trails and just really putting things out in the community, like the skills clinics, like maybe bringing more advocacy for adaptive bikes.
Right.
So I'm just excited about all the different things that we have ahead of us.
That's awesome, Ruth. Thank you so much for coming and taking an afternoon to spend with us. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. So, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
Well,
she was just like mouthing, Josh, we forgot something. Tell us. We got to talk about something. Yes. You have a big raffle going on.
We have a big raffle coming up. I want to invite people to go on the SDMB website and buy some tickets for a raffle for a Cannondale Habit 3 that was donated to us by Epic Rides. This bike was given or donated to them by Tres Amigos Tequila. So this year at the dedication, we are going to have some margaritas. Nice. And so this bike was donated to SDMB so that we can help fundraise. And we're very excited. We have an online raffle that we just launched yesterday. And it's $5 a ticket or 5 for $20, and you get to win this bike. And you don't have to be a resident of Arizona. You just need to be here or have one of your friends buy your ticket here. But Tres Amigos will ship that bike to you. You can select the size and the color. And so in all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds go to SDMB. So go online and buy your tickets and help support SDMB.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks. We just did a little video promo while we were, while she was telling me that on the podcast. So a little two for there. I'm trying to work on my workflow so it gets more efficient. Right? How'd you like that? 2 for 1.
I like that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again, Ruth. We really appreciate your time. We really appreciate everything you're doing for the local community here, the trail advocacy. It's thankless. The Sonoran Desert Mountain Bikers, it's all volunteers. Everything they do is volunteers.
The passion,
the hard work, the dedication. I've been blessed to be able to see a little bit of it behind the scenes, and it just blows my mind, everything that you guys are doing. And I really wish the community could see what I can see and how much work you guys are doing. So
thank you, Josh, for joining, our efforts and really just helping us, giving us a lot of ideas and advice, and just being a supporter of our work. And Dane, thank you so much. I mean, you know how much I love this shop, and you know how much I love my bike, and
Rocky Mountain Ruth.
And my air conditioner is still working, and
that's
I haven't
awesome.
replaced it because we have also a good HVAC guy. Thanks to you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks a lot, Ruth.
How hard was it?
No, I mean,
Not bad?
it was kind of at first, because I was listening. I'm like, I hate my voice. I've hated my voice since I was a kid. So I was like, yeah, but no. Then it was.